Senator Grove.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm honored and somewhat saddened today to announce the retirement of Richard Paul, who has served as a valued professional staff member in the Senate since 1992 and has worked in the Republican Policy Office since 1999, primarily as our caucus consultant for the Governmental Organization Committee. Senate Republican Leader Wilk was scheduled to speak first about Richard, but since he was unable to be in Sacramento today, he asked me to lead off. We had hoped and planned to honor Richard in person today on the floor, but his battle with cancer is keeping him from being here. We were devastated that Richard can't be with us on the floor today, but we know that he's watching this Senate floor session from his laptop where he's currently at. I wanted to personally welcome him, albeit virtually, to the Senate floor. I'm honored to rise today to recognize the service, strength, courage, and just complete dedication and hard work of our dear friend and colleague, Richard Paul. I could probably stand here and speak for an eternity on the merits of Richard's work as a committee consultant and on his dedication to the fellowship program or as a volunteer at the California State Railroad Museum. However, today, I'd like to highlight a little about Richard's health journey and his dedication to public service above all else. As many of you know, during the summer of 2018, Richard was diagnosed with metastatic sarcoma. It's a very rare form of cancer. The disease spread to his spine, damaged his spinal cord, and it resulted in a partial paralysis. Richard has braved several surgeries, endured multiple rounds of chemotherapy, and spent month after month in hospitals and rehabilitation facilities during his extensive treatment. Under the leadership of Stanford sarcoma specialist Dr. Kristen Ganju, a remarkable, dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and other providers have delivered Richard's exceptional care. However, it's Richard's brother, Brad, that has stood by his side as a primary caregiver and support system. He's the epitome of absolute selfless love. The respect and adoration that I have for these caretakers is exceeded only by gratitude that I express to them today for all that they have given. My gratitude also extends to Roger Mackison up in the gallery. Richard's co-worker and longtime steadfast friend, Roger, has supported Richard in every capacity and has acted as our principal liaison as a source of updates. I can't thank you enough, Roger, at all, for every text message, every email, and every phone call when you were able to speak to Richard and relay his condition to each one of us. I want you to know that you provided unwavering support to what I think is our policy family, the family that we love and treasure in this building. You were the one that gave us the information on how to pray, join together and ask God for favor over this illness, and I just thank you for being there every single day for Roger. I'm sorry for Richard, I apologize. Despite all the obstacles and challenges that Richard had faced, he has not let this disease define him or his spirit. Richard has borne all the suffering and yes, this tragedy with extraordinary courage and unparalleled strength and remarkable resiliency and an absolute grace. Richard's heart of faith has nurtured the soul full of hope, carrying through the most difficult years and securing in his heart and mind the knowledge that he is the son of an almighty God. It has been an absolute honor being able to work with Richard in a professional capacity that has developed into a wonderful friendship over the last few years. He is a professional worthy of recognition and praise. He has distinguished himself with his unwavering commitment to civil service and his dedication in working for the people of the state of California under the most difficult personal circumstances. President Woodrow Wilson once said, "The ear of a leader must ring with the voices of the people." Indeed, Richard's work throughout the years reflects his call to ensure that the legislature responds to the needs of the citizens and how we can serve the people of the great state of California. As they say, leadership is service, not position, and we are fortunate to work alongside Richard as a leader and a friend, some in this building for over 31 years. On a personal level, Richard and I became close during this time that I spent as the minority leader. I'm blessed to have sat with him and prayed with him, talked to him, enjoyed his wisdom and direction, to have shared those moments with him and have experienced the presence of his soul. Richard has been nothing less than a blessing and an absolute pleasure to work with, and I will always treasure the time that we spent. Winston Churchill explained it this way: we make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. Richard gave 31 years to this building in the state of California in dedicated service in his life. Richard Paul, we are amazed at your strength during this difficult battle, and I want to recognize your dedication to the people of California for over 3 decades. We stand with you, and we want you to know that our prayer warriors in this building are speaking peace and strength and health and healing over you every single day. As Richard is the longest serving member in our Republican caucus, he's often referred to as the Dean of the Caucus Consultants. So it's no better follow that I introduce the Dean of the Senate that has worked with Richard for a tremendous amount of years to speak on Richard's behalf as well.
Senator Nielsen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Richard, as I look at the camera, I feel that I'm looking right at you. I feel your presence here in this institution with us. You're not piped in by video. You're here because your heart is here. I've often told colleagues, Assembly of Senate, Congress, you know, the ones who really count are not the elected members, but the people who work here, the unsung, who work countless hours, more than even we do, preparing members to do their job on behalf of the people. He attended UC Berkeley, getting a degree in history, which relates to someone I'll speak of later, Alex Vassar, who was our resident historian and gave me some information about Richard. He was a Senate fellow, a very esteemed position. Most of us have enjoyed fellows in our offices working. We know what that means. He then has become a steward of and mentor in the Senate Fellowship. And most of us have enjoyed having fellows in our offices. He came here first working with Senator Bill Leonard, then Bill Baker, an assemblyman in the Bay Area, Phil Wyman from Tehachapi. And then he became part of the Senate Fellowship Program and served as a GO consultant, brought to that position by Senator Ken Maddy, a dear friend, now deceased, but very much a part of this institution. Senator Borges now represents Fresno. I do not represent it, but I was born there, went to school there, and my heart is there. And I know and knew very well Senator Maddy, who succeeded me as Republican leader. Ken was a very discerning man, a person of the Senate. Richard could not have had a better mentor. But the value, ladies and gentlemen, of the Senate of a mentee is what do they give back? And this man has given back so much to the Senate, to the people of the state of California. The GO committee is called the Juice Committee. It's one of my colleagues that speak next serves as chair. The issues before that committee are very agonizing, difficult, complex. To wit, when Indian gaming became a part of California, he participated in negotiation of all those pacts, communicating their value, what was in them, what was not, and he became an expert in that very unique niche that is in gaming in California. A very important part of not just our economy, but of our culture. And he became one of the architects of what we now enjoy with the Indian gaming. He later worked for Ross Johnson for a time. Then he became a part of the Republican Policy Consultant's Office. Esteemed in those councils of his peers. When they heard that I was going to make some remarks, I got many calls from his peers who had worked with him. Behind the scenes, scenes that we did not see, were not a part of, but from which we gained the value of the wisdom that he imparted and the resonant history so imbued in his spirit and his soul. Alex Vassar told me that he had been a 31-year career serving with 579 legislators over those years, including 214 state senators. And during his tenure, almost 30,000 bills have been signed into law. That's no mean feat to be able to steward those bills through and communicate to the members of the various committees and to the floor of the merit and the demerits of those many bills. He was an aficionado of trains. He loved trains. And do you know how much a part of the history of this state trains are? I think of the Promontory Point and the driving of that last spike that connected East and West in Midwest America. He knew about that. He even was trained, if you will. He had a role working through the historic train museum in Old Sacramento, just a few blocks away from here. He learned the roles of being a brakeman. There are a lot of country songs about the brakemen, their bravery. He was a conductor. He was a maintenance of way technician, and he earned a federal certificate to certify the safety of our railroads. As my colleague from Bakersfield has mentioned, he's come upon a stumble along the way. We never know when those moments may occur in our lives. That is not the question. The question is, how does Richard deal with that situation as he is now? And what can we do about it? I always find refuge and peace in my heart and soul in prayer. And I certainly have added Richard to my prayers. And I know that those will touch him and have their value to him. And I know the Lord does listen to all of us. I was told one time or asked by someone to pray for them because, Jim, God listens to you. And I laughed and I said, no, God listens to everybody. If I have any purchase with the Lord, it's just I have a lot more to pray about than many. Well, Richard is one that we should indeed add to our prayers now. This is a challenging time. And of my prayers for Richard is a verse in the Bible. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard your heart and mind through Christ Jesus. I believe that Richard feels that presence in his life. And in our soliloquies here and our testimonies to him, he gets to be reminded of that again. To relive the wonderful moments of his life and wonderful accomplishments that he wrought here. And he, like his mentors, including Senator Matty, will live on in this institution. Many members are ultimately not too memorable, but some do live on within the institution. And even fewer staff are even recognized or remembered. When I'm cruising around the Capitol every day, I mention to the folks those unknown voices that give us good counsel, including those that are janitors, who park our cars, our special services. They are the ones that are the architects of our success. It is not about us. It's about what they give us and what they, through us, give to this institution that governs this state. Richard has been a part of all of that for over 3 decades. We wish him peace of heart, of understanding, of strength in these challenging times. And we know, notwithstanding any challenges that we face, if we look to the Lord, he will bring us that peace which surpasses all understanding. Father in heaven, may that be Richard's reward. Your grace be upon him. Your blessings be upon him. And let him live fully every single day and moment before you take him home.
Senator Dodd.
Thank you, Madam President and members. As chair of the Senate GO, I'm honored to have the opportunity to say a few words about the distinguished career of Richard Paul. When I first became chair of GO, my committee staff was adamant that Richard could be one of the first people that I meet. And when I met him, I understood exactly why they had that in mind. Not only was he incredibly knowledgeable about the issues, but he was absolutely honest and committed to working with me and my staff in an open and bipartisan manner, a commitment that has never faltered. Throughout my chairmanship, he has been a sounding board for my staff. Together, they have helped me in chairing what I hope is a well-run committee that works across the aisle to improve the lives of everybody in this state. At a time when bipartisanship is nearly impossible to achieve, I hope we can take Richard's commitment as an example of how policy can be improved by working together. For everyone here who's had bills referred to GO, I can tell you that many times the reason why your bills received the number of votes that they did was because of the work that Richard did behind the scenes to ensure bipartisan support. I hope we can take a moment today to appreciate that work. My committee staff, both past and present, also wanted me to publicly share their gratitude not only for all your help, but for your friendship as well, Richard. The state of California, every member of the legislature, and all the staff here owes you a great amount of gratitude. I hope you understand that your work has and will always be appreciated. Richard, there are so many more words that I could say. Ultimately, though, sometimes the simplest words say it best. Thank you.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President and members. Richard, God bless you. And we are giving you our greatest greetings for your retirement. And I just wanted to share kind of, briefly as a member of the GO committee, when I first got there and reading through the analysis, maybe the second or third week, I'm realizing there's actually some pretty interesting commentary in these analysis. And one of them just cracked me up, and I started laughing. I go, who is writing this stuff? And then, of course, my staff mentioned Richard Paul, and shortly after that, I got an opportunity to meet him and build a relationship with him as a member of that committee. And his analyses are always spot on, informative, funny, often satirical, and most of all, thought-provoking. Richard would always hit the nail on the head when a bill proposed creating a new state agency, department, or bureau, as he often asked pointed questions such as, is there no other existing government entity that can be utilized instead of reinventing the wheel again? Here is a favorite passage that Richard often penned, quote, "Why do we need a separate and distinct commission to study this issue yet again? Why establish yet another commission in the state government when the governor has already issued an executive order creating essentially the same thing?" And maybe a question to Alex Vassar would be is how many times did that show up in an analysis? One of Richard's favorite targets was the litany of exemptions and carve-outs that the legislature makes every year to the Tight House law, with Richard often raising the question of how about letting the modern marketplace deal with this rather than propping up this archaic government system of control. Richard stayed true to the free market principles and wrote, "The ABC Act is punched full of holes already. Why not just fix this section of law so that every new development, stadium, arena, theater, etc., does not need to come crawling to the legislature seeking legal exemptions so that they may conduct what in any other industry would be considered common business practices?" Sometimes those analyses are hard to read for some of the folks that we work with here in the Capitol. But I think the members of our caucus and the members of the Senate entirely are going to miss seeing Richard around every day with his happy, committed demeanor to the service of the state of California in his retirement. We're going to miss his tough but entertaining analysis to rely on as we scrutinize the all too many proposals to increase the size of government. Richard, thank you for your service to all of us. We wish you well in retirement and for long and many healthy years to be able to enjoy it. Thank you.
Senator Grove, would you like to conclude?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank all the senators who spoke on behalf of Richard today. We previously presented this framed resolution to Richard and for all of his accomplishments working in the legislature for more than 3 decades. Richard, I'd like to thank you for your service to the state of California for over 3 decades and your dedication and unwavering service to the people. I also want to say one more time, Roger and Greg, I know that you are not family, but biological family to Richard, and that Brad is his devoted brother. But if I could bestow any title on both of you, Greg and Roger, I would like to say you have been the greatest unbiological brothers or family that Richard could ever possibly have. So thank you for your service to this extraordinary man and his dedication to our state And members, would you please join me in a round of applause to honor Richard Paul for his dedicated service to the state? Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, or Madam President.
A big thank you to Richard Paul, and congratulations on his retirement. Thank you for your service to the state of California.